As I have purposed, so it will be. As I have planned, so it will be. So God's thoughts are good enough as actions. All he has to do is think about something and it happens. So he has planned it, so it will happen. Hello, my beautiful family. Welcome back to our channel. Happy Sunday. I'm so glad you're here. Good to be here. We are back in the book of Isaiah, back in our study of Isaiah, and I believe we're on chapter 14, I think it is. And if you're new, hello, my name is Payton. Sundays are my favorite here on YouTube, so I'm so happy you're joining us today. And if you'd like to join our family, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and hit that bell so you never miss an upload. So before I get started on the Bible study, we do have a commercial break. This video is a collaboration with Mapiful, which basically is an online store that you can build and create your own customizable maps, star maps, just so much more. And so for mine, I'm obsessed with Disney World. So basically, Disney World is a vacation that me and my family always go on. My mom and my grandma are obsessed with Disney, and so am I. So this is a place we always go. We've made so many amazing family memories there, so I thought this would be just the perfect thing for my map for memories, and I love this. It goes well with my room, and it's just super cute. This is actually just Florida. And so Disney World would probably be about right there, but basically I just picked the pink theme. There's a whole bunch of different colored themes you can choose, a whole bunch of different fonts you can choose, and then I also have the Disney World coordinates right here, and then Florida. So head over to Mapiful. The link will be in the description if you want to order your map today. So we are in Isaiah 14 today if you guys want to follow along. I'm going to do a little different today, and I'm going to read each chunk, and then we're going to go through each chunk and dissect it, just so we can kind of stay on the same page and kind of figure out where we are in the story instead of me trying to jump back and forth. Isaiah 14 verse 1. For the Lord will have compassion on Jacob and will choose Israel again. He will settle them on their own land. The resident alien will join them and be united with the house of Jacob. The nations will escort Israel and bring it to its homeland. Then the house of Israel will process them as male and female slaves in the Lord's land. They will make captives of their captors and will rule over their oppressors. So in the first verse, when it says, we'll choose Israel again, we're seeing that the judgment on Babylon was mercy on Israel. And when it says the nation will escort Israel and bring it to its homeland, so God chooses us and he will continue to choose us again and again. He will choose his people. And when it's saying that they'll be delivered to the homeland, we see here that God always has something better in store for us. He always has something prepared for us, something better than what we could ever imagine. And here when it says the resident alien, that is talking about the Gentiles, and the Gentiles used to be enemies of the Israelites, and so here it's talking about making the Gentiles their friends rather than their enemies, because they were once enemies. So the second chunk, we're going to read verse 3 through 8, and it says, when the Lord gives you rest from your pain, torment, and the hard labor you were forced to do, you will sing this song of contempt about the king of Babylon and say, how the oppressor has quieted down, and how the raging has become quiet. The Lord has broken the staff of the wicked, the scepter of the rulers. It struck the people in anger with unceased blows. It subdued the nations in rage with relentless persecution. The whole earth is calm and at rest. People shout with a ringing cry. Even the cypresses and the cedars of Lebanon rejoice over you. Since you have been laid low, no lumberjack has come against you. So this right here is rest on the believers in Israel, and basically the king's weakness is being exposed, and the days here are numbered. And throughout this chapter, Satan is compared to this king of Babylon, because this king of Babylon is very wicked, very evil, and so we see an interchangeable comparison between the king of Babylon and Satan, and so that's what's being compared here. So basically the days are numbered for these Israelites to be in bondage, to be slaved. And so we see this here of like how the oppressor has quieted down. The Lord has broken the staff of the wicked, the scepter of the ruler. So God will always set us free from our bondage, from our chains. The next chunk is verse 9 through 15, and it says, Sheol below is eager to greet your coming, stirring up the spirits of the departed for you, all the rulers of the earth, making all the kings of the nations rise from their thrones. They all respond to you, saying, You too have become as weak as we are. You have become like us. Your splendor has been brought down to Sheol, along with the music of your harps. Maggots are spread out under you, and worms cover you. Shining morning star, how have you fallen from the heavens, you destroyers of nations? You have been cut down to the ground. You said to yourself, I will ascend to the heavens. I will set up my throne above the stars of God. I will sit on the mount of the God's assembly in the remotest parts of the north. I will ascend above the highest clouds. I will make myself like the Most High, but you will be brought down to Sheol, into the deepest region of the pit. All right, so here we're talking about hell, and now how hell is about to receive the king of Babylon. And so basically, we're also being told that Satan will go to hell. And so here it's telling us that we sometimes put Satan at a value and a power of more than he actually is. So sometimes we will sit here and say Satan is the opposite of God. God is good, Satan is evil. God is light, Satan is darkness. But Satan isn't even as powerful enough for us to even say that he's the opposite of God. He is merely a creature, and here the king of Babylon is merely a human. They are weak. They are fragile. And so they do not have that power. The enemy, Satan, does not have that immense power that we sometimes think he does. He is just merely a creature, a fallen angel. And so we see strong words here like maggots are spread out under you and worms cover you. So this is kind of just like describing the disgust and the degrading aspect of someone going to hell, of Satan and this king of Babylon going to hell. And then we see kind of described here the fall of Satan, why he fell, the 4 falls that Satan received, and we see these I will statements from Satan, these very prideful, the reasons for his fall. And so we see right here when it says, shining morning star, how have you fallen from heaven? So once so bright, once shining, this king of Babylon was good, was great. Satan once was good. He was this angel that was in heaven, that was with God, that was working for God. So they once were so bright. Satan had 4 falls. His first fall was from being glorified as an angel to profane, to evil, to disgusting. His second fall was a fall from access to heaven at all. Satan has no access to heaven whatsoever. The third fall was fall from earth to a bondage in the bottomless pit for 1,000 years. And then the last fall that Satan will experience is to be imprisoned in hell forever. And the reasons for his fall was right here in his I will statements. He wanted to be equal to God. He wanted to be in charge. He was mad that us humans, we're told that us humans would be above angels in heaven, that angels would serve us. And so Satan now sets out to obscure the image of God for us. And he hated that we would be above him in heaven. And so he has all these prideful I will statements that he wants to make himself the Most High. So, interesting, which I actually didn't know some of that stuff. I didn't know the exact details of why Satan fell and why he pretty much was a fallen angel. I knew he didn't want to work for God and that he had selfish intentions, but this is kind of cool that it goes into specifics of now we can kind of know this knowledge. And so the next chunk is verse 16 through 21, and it says, those who see you will stare at you. They will look closely at you. Is this the man who caused the earth to tremble, who shook the kingdoms, who turned the world into a wilderness, who destroyed its cities, and would not release the prisoners to return home? All the kings of the nations lie in splendor, each on his own tomb. But you are thrown out without a grave, like a worthless branch, covered by those slain with the sword, and dumped into a pit like a trampled corpse. You will not join them in burial, because you destroyed your land and slaughtered your own people. The offspring of evildoers will never be mentioned again. Prepare a place of slaughter for his sons. Because of the iniquity of their fathers, they will never rise up to possess a land or fulfill the surface of the earth with cities. So basically here, they're seeing the king of Babylon for what he actually is, and he's not going to receive that burial that kings most of the time had, kind of like a held in honor kind of burial, that he's pretty much just going to hell. And so, yeah, he had to do some pretty bad stuff to end up with that kind of fate. And then the next chunk is verse 22 through 27. I will rise up against them. This is the declaration of the Lord of armies. And I will cut off from Babylon her reputation, remnant, offspring, and posterity. This is the Lord's declaration. I will make her a swampland and a region for herons, and I will sweep her away with the broom of destruction. This is the declaration of the Lord of armies. The Lord of armies has sworn, as I have purposed, so it will be. As I have planned it, so it will happen. I will break Assyria in my land. I will tread him down on my mountain. Then his yoke will be taken from them, and his burden will be removed from their shoulders. This is the plan prepared for the whole earth, and this is the hand stretched out against all the nations. The Lord of armies himself has planned it. Therefore, who can stand in its way? It is his hand that is outstretched, so we can turn it back. There's going to be nothing left of Babylon. There's going to be judgment. There's going to be this cleansing. And then we see right here, which I actually love this section, as I have purposed, so it will be. As I have planned, so it will be. So God's thoughts are good enough as actions. All he has to do is think about something and it happens. So he has planned it, so it will happen. Then we see here in verse 27, the Lord of armies himself has planned it. Therefore, who can stand in its way? So God always accomplishes his plan and what he sets out to do, and none of us, Satan or anybody else, can stop it. I love that. Kind of gives you hope. And then the last chunk to finish out Isaiah 14 is verse 28 through 32. In the year that King Ahaz died, this pronouncement came. Don't rejoice, all of you in Philistia, because the rod of the one who struck you is broken. For a viper will come from the root of a snake, and from its eggs comes a flying serpent. Then the firstborn of the poor will be well fed, and the impoverished will lie down in safety. And I will kill your root with hunger, and your remnant will be slain. Wail, you gates, cry out, city, tremble with fear, all Philistia. For a cloud of dust is coming from the north, and there is no one missing from the invaders' ranks. What answer will be given to the messengers from that nation? The Lord has found Zion, and his oppressed people will find refuge in her. And so basically this is a message to the Philistines saying, don't rejoice in the fall of Israel because you have not escaped judgment. There's still going to be judgment upon you. And then we see a message from God to his people of like, this destruction's about to come, but this is what I have to say to you. And this is what God says to his people. So when judgment comes, what is founded by and what is founded in the Lord will stand. And the poor in spirit find refuge in God. So kind of, when this judgment comes around, God is always protecting his people. This judgment is against the sinful and evil nature of those in these countries. And God is saying to his people, everything that is founded by the Lord and everything that is in the Lord and founded in the Lord will stand. So his people will stand through this. But that is chapter 14. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys have any questions or if I can clarify anything, please leave a comment. I will most definitely look into that and answer you guys. Also, I do have a Christmas giveaway going on in my last video, so go ahead and enter that if you haven't. But I love you guys, and I'm praying for each and every one of you, and I hope you have the best Sunday, and I will see all of your beautiful faces on Friday.